Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
I'm joined with Captain Amrinder Singh, the Chief Minister of Punjab. Captain, thank you so much for speaking to The Print. We are on Skype. I'm here in Delhi. You're in your offices in Chandigarh. And we are separated on this computer because of the coronavirus outbreak in our country. First of all, tell me, how is Punjab dealing with the situation now that we have been under lockdown across the country for about 3 weeks?
Well, the numbers are going up. There's no doubt that. There are today 197 who are affected by corona, and we've lost 14 people. So that is happening. But I think, by and large, the lockdown has been successful. Our curfew is successful. We are feeding people at home. We are not letting them go out unless there's an emergency or a hospital or something. And hopefully it'll taper off after a few more days. We are climbing at the rate of about 5 or 6 or 7 a day, that sort of thing at the moment.
Right. So you were among the first chief ministers, Captain, to tell Prime Minister Narendra Modi that the lockdown should be extended for another couple of weeks after this first phase got over on the 15th of April. Why was that?
Because I had various reports, of course, are coming in. We've seen all the international reports, which you must have seen too. But I've taken more by the report produced by the department concerned of the PGI in Chandigarh. And they had told us that if you have a lockdown for 6 weeks, then after 5 weeks, you will find that the trend is going to dip. And hopefully no fresh cases will come. So we did a 3-week first. And then I did a 3-week the second time. That means 5 weeks plus a week to then go back into normal. That was why I did it.
So you believe, or according to this PGI report, that 6 weeks is good enough to control the virus, to contain it, and to break the chain of transmission?
That's what it is. Because earlier they told us when we asked, they said if you carry on like this, if no action is taken, then by the time this reaches a peak, which is likely to be sometime in September, then you will have 87% of Punjab covered. And that's not only us, 80% of India, they're saying, will be covered. So
80% of India would be covered by the virus in September.
That's by the virus. And that's not only them, that's the Johns Hopkins report, that is the Boston University report. All are saying the same thing, that India will head for that. And these people are saying the same thing. So we said, let's take stringent measures right from the beginning, and we did that. And I think, as I said, numbers are going up, because I'll tell you why are they going up. Because we've had 2 incidents. One is right in the beginning, we got 94,000 people who came into our airports at Mohali and Amritsar from overseas, from those countries where this was prevalent. And 44 came through Palam. So you imagine those are all the NRIs who've come into here. And the belt that's affected is the northern belt, the Doaba belt. And these are all coming from there. And now we've got another 27, 28 which have come from Nizamuddin. And they've come into Mohali, into the southern districts, which is Mansa and Sangrur and all that area. So unfortunately, that has aggravated the situation. Otherwise, the ones which came from the NRIs who came, what we did with them was we put them, of course, they were tested at the airports, but we put the whole lot into quarantine. And by now, 40,000 have been released. And the rest, I think, in another couple of days, they'll be out, other than those few who were carrying infection.
And what about the people who came from the Nizamuddin Basti? How did you treat them?
27 have died out of that lot that came. About 600 came, and the rest we have tried to follow up and find out who they've been in contact with, and we are taking all of them into isolation.
How do you think Prime Minister Modi has handled this crisis?
Well, I think he's talked to all of us, and he has listened to us all. And I think what he said makes sense. I mean, say the same thing I'm saying, that lockdown is the only answer.
But isn't
where us, I'd like to add here, where he could have helped us is to give us some sort of money for us to use. We don't have, most states are down. Punjab is very poorly off as far as our finances are concerned. We've been in big debt and all that. And announcements are made that 15,000 crores is going to be given for Corona, which means nothing. All the chief ministers have told him that unless you think of 1.5 lakh crores or more, we are a huge country. What is 15,000 crores going to do? But even out of 15,000 crores, we have not got even a penny. And I think we are using whatever we have, whatever resources we have, whatever we are cutting down our budgets and cutting down from various departments and putting it into Corona. That's our biggest battle.
But perhaps one of the reasons why the Prime Minister is giving such little money, I mean, I don't know the real reasons, but perhaps one of the reasons is that the centre doesn't have that kind of money anymore.
Well, it's a national phenomena. It's a global phenomena, and India comes very much in it. And by and large, compared to what's happening the world over, India seems to be in a better state. Maybe it's a lockdown. We do not know how the situation is going to grow. If they say that you're going to really flatten out in September, October, that's a long time to go yet. But still, we need money for it. I have got 12 lakh migrant laborers, which I'm feeding every day. They are not getting wages. There's no work going on. So, it does cost money.
So that was my next question. So Punjab, like you said, has a lot of migrant labor, 12 lakh people across from UP and Bihar, I imagine, who come and work in Punjab. But amongst a lot of the other states, I think you've done perhaps better because a lot of your labor haven't left Punjab like they left Delhi and haven't gone back to their native places. So what happened? What did you do?
I asked all our industry, which basically out of these 12 lakh, 10 lakh are in Ludhiana. And I've asked our industry there, and that's our industrial hub, that keep your people. Because today we didn't know at that stage how long this is going to go on till. So I said, if it's a couple of weeks, they're not going to come back for your industry or for the harvesting season, which started yesterday. And they all kept them. And I said, you keep them, you feed them, you house them, and you give them wages. And I know a lot of the industrial houses who did that. And therefore they stayed. And the rest of them we are feeding and housing.
So why is it that other states and other chief ministers weren't able to do that?
I don't know. I cannot comment on that, but I can tell you that we felt this because, now our harvest started yesterday and we need for that storage and various other things. Then now, fortunately, the Prime Minister we had written to him because, we come under the National Disaster Relief and therefore we take our directives from the Delhi. We can't take all our decisions ourselves. So I had written to him that now that we have asked industry to do this and they're housing them in their premises and they're feeding them there, allow them to work and some production can carry on so the industry doesn't come to a halt. And for a couple of weeks, nothing happened. But in this announcement which he made the other day to us as the chief ministers when we met him, spoke to him, he said, yes, you can, certain type of industry you can start working. And I'm happy to say that Bathinda has started working and Ludhiana by Monday or so, they'll start working too.
So the staggered withdrawal from the lockdown will help Punjab?
I think so. We have set up a 20-member committee, which is coming up with a paper for us as to how we withdraw from this lockdown, in what stages. And that's one. And the second one we are setting up now to tell us how we can get Punjab's economy revival. Because the economic revival at the moment is taking number 2 and number 3 position. Our number 1 position is to save the lives of our people.
Right. So I just want to come back to the migrants crisis, which hasn't hit you as bad as it has some other states. But we've seen in Maharashtra and Mumbai, actually, only a couple of days ago, in Surat in Gujarat over the last few days, where people have been agitating, have been coming out on the streets and saying that they want to go home.
Well, so far, none. I mean, if industry starts again, and if people are are able to get wages, because we've got people from all over. I've got people from Odisha, I've Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, I've got them from UP, I've got them from Bihar. Everyone has come. And they come here to work. So once they get that work and they get their wages, why should they go back?
But you saw how in Delhi, thousands of people just fled Delhi a couple of weeks ago. And similar scenes have been unfolding in other parts of the country. And what would you say to your fellow chief ministers?
Well, I think Delhi was a different stage. You must remember that the fear of COVID is very widespread, and people don't know really what it is. And we understand, you understand, I read reports, I talk to PGI, but the common man on the street who's cutting wheat or something, he doesn't understand. He knows say, bhayanak bimari aa gayi aur hum to sare mar jayenge, and they want to go home.
Right.
And that is the sort of thing that must have happened in that panic.
So was there a failure of communication, do you think?
I think so. I think if the chief ministers had spoken to them and told them that this is the situation, you must be frank. You must be open. When I made the statement that if we don't do anything, 87% of Punjab will be down, everybody shouted, what is all this, 87%? Where does it come from? How can it happen? But that is a fact. If you tell people that this is going to happen and that is why we are doing what we are doing, they will accept it.
So would you say then that the Prime Minister's addresses to the nation, first on the Janta curfew, then again announcing the lockdown, and subsequently a couple of times, I think he's had 4 or 5, those have been lessons in communication to the people?
Perhaps he could have told them. If I was him, I would certainly have told them what the truth is. I mean, what I think is the truth is. I don't know what the Prime Minister's information is, how much he's got and where he's got his reports from. But I can tell you what I've got. And if I had to speak, I would have told them, I said, this is the position which I've done in Punjab. And therefore, please maintain lockdown. Don't mix with people. Food will come to your homes, milk will come to your homes, everything is there. Only go if you need medicine or want to go to a hospital, or you're short of money, your banks are open, you can go there. Otherwise, you stay at home. And
so there was no option, no alternative to this?
No, I don't think there's no medicine. If somebody today gets it, all you do is they say, take a Crocin. That's all you have. Until something comes about, some vaccine is developed or something, this is what we have to live up to. And therefore, the only solution is keep apart.
So you've also been quoted as saying that there is community transmission of the disease in Punjab.
Yes. Community transmission in this sense that we've lost 2 people dead who never went abroad. They haven't been abroad, they haven't been to Nizamuddin, they haven't come from there, they're not NRIs, but they got it. And around Chandigarh, one is in Mohali and one elsewhere. And obviously they've met somebody. So it's moving from there. And hopefully we are isolating. Like today, we lost a man in Patiala. And I was just finished talking to the Deputy Commissioner. They've rounded up all his contacts he's had in the last week and put them into isolation. That is the only solution.
So speaking of Nizamuddin Basti, I want to ask you, there has been a lot of communalization around the Tablighi Jamaat in Delhi from the Nizamuddin Basti, from the congregation. And while a lot of people have died, including in Punjab and elsewhere in the country, what is your message to these people who are indulging in communal slurs?
Absolutely. I've been very tough on it. There was some incidents. 1 or 2 people were caught making statements. We booked them. And there has been some incidents in which Gujars, who are in the border district and who can't go into Himachal this time because of this interstate movement, nobody was buying their milk. So we've had to make some arrangements there also.
And these are Muslims?
And these Gujars are all Muslims in this area, this side. The nomadic Muslims, the ones with the buffaloes, not the ones who are settled for agriculture. And they after we've come down tough on them, this hasn't happened again.
So what do you think? Why do you think it happened so why was it so bad?
Yeah. Today, out of my 13,300 villages, 1,500 villages are the only ones left. The rest of them have blocked their villages off. They put either they've cut the roads or they put barriers and they say, out of our village, don't come here. Even their relatives or their neighboring village, they say, we don't want you, stay out. So the fear was the thing that made people behave in this manner initially. Now, of course, things after they've seen things happening and that it's not in such a crisis stage at the moment. In any case, most of the rural folk are out now in the villages cutting their wheat since yesterday. that, of course, the emphasis has shifted.
So the fear was what was driving these communal statements. Yes,
Yeah.
you feel. Okay. So last question on the wheat. You're in the middle of the harvest season. You've just celebrated Baisakhi, a time of much joy and festivity in Punjab. How are you dealing with that crisis of the harvest?
No, we are absolutely ready. For me personally, it's the 17th harvest which I've done as a chief minister, and last 5 years and this. So we knew exactly, and we are geared up. We have no problem. The wheat harvest started yesterday, 15th, and I was talking to all our various people today who are in charge. They're all gung ho, and there's no problem about it. We've got the money, we've got the storage space, we've got the bags. We've got everything that's required, and we've got the labor, and so we don't have any trouble.
So despite the lockdown, you've been able to do all this.
I'll tell you, despite the lockdown, but the little difference is that we had 1820 mandis. Now we've done 3,300 mandis. Reason, we didn't want crowding. So we opened up. We've given, every mandi has been very well aligned. We've made the sanitation compulsory. We made masks compulsory, and the spacing compulsory, and everything is going as of yesterday according to plan. So God willing, it will go off well.
But just the one, I think, black spot was with the Nihangs, who, that Punjab policeman unfortunately lost his hands, and I think that was something that wasn't such a...
Nihang, this particular Nihang, this is some offshoot of the Nihangs, because I talked to Baba Balbir Singh, who's the head. He doesn't belong to their group. There's a group of 5 or 6 of them who, they are Patiala fellows. They are just outside Patiala on the Gula Road. There's a village called Balbeda, and they are based there. They had set up this business, and the village of Balbeda was fed up of them, and they wanted them out. And these chaps came to the Sabzi Mandi, and the police naturally doesn't allow anyone in without a pass. So the moment he did that, one fellow pulled out his sword and cut his hand off. Luckily, he's okay. I spoke to his doctor yesterday, last evening, and he said it'll probably recover. And otherwise, the others are all in the lockup. There's not one policeman. There were 5 injured. One had his hand cut off. The rest was some cut in the backs and legs and all that sort of thing.
So as chief minister, you like meeting people. You like to go out. You like to sort of. But this state of lockdown, how has it affected you and your work as chief minister?
Well, we are now, fortunately, this is available to us. So I'm just talking to my committee on fiscal reforms, which just finished before I came on to you. So we are on to this business of these, what do we call this, video conferencing. Yeah. And I'm through to everyone on video conferencing every day for a couple of hours to know what's going around and all. We are not going out ourselves much. I'm not in the office. I'm at home at the moment, and I'm staying at home. Okay. And we operate from here. Papers, files that need to come, they come here, and otherwise it's all conferences on video conferencing.
Are you also speaking to your...
Sorry?
No, go ahead. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
No, I said we are up to date on everything. Minute to minute, we are up to date. In fact, this 14th person only died today, and I've got his figure, and the 3 that have got positive today, I've just received his figure. So we get it minute to minute. We got all the information coming in.
Right. Do you speak to your fellow chief ministers as well, those from the Congress as well as non-Congress states?
In fact, my wheat harvest this year is a bumper.
Oh, it is a bumper.
It is a bumper, and I'm expecting 180 lakh tons, and out of it, 135 lakh tons is marketable surplus. And I required another 1 lakh bales from Bengal. So I talked to Mamta ji that some of our bales orders are pending, and please do something. And what is not pending and needs to be manufactured, please do something. So she has done it, and the 25,000 are on the way. And the others, I hope they will be ready. We've got enough for 25 days, but by that time we require this to come. So that is one. I spoke to our Maharashtra Chief Minister, because we've got 200 of our people sitting in Hazur Sahib in Nanded, and we want to come back. and they can't come back. So he said, I'll do anything you want, whatever you want from me, you can take it. But interstate movement has been stopped by Delhi. So they can't come. So they're stuck there. So like that, one talks to whoever one needs to talk to.
But if you've had such a bumper harvest, and surely there must be a lot of grain in the go-downs of Punjab and elsewhere in the country, why is it that people are still going hungry? You see stories every day in Delhi, in Mumbai, in various parts, in Gujarat, in various parts of the country, that there's still hunger, that there's no access to food grain.
I've been talking for the last 1 year to the food minister, Mr. Paswan. For God's sake, get my food out. I've got last year's rice, last year's wheat, all in stock. I've got no go-downs left. Where am I going to put all my things? Literally, we are overflowing. And today, they have just moved out. We still have about 17 million tons left with us in last two crops. And I talked to the FCI today, and they promised me that they'll lift it up in the next few days, and trains are going. In fact, day before yesterday, we sent 2 train loads, 72 lakh tons out. And so this is, they are making movements, because I told them, I said, I have no place. Then I have to do temporary storage. Temporary storage means I put it into some go-down with tarpaulins on top. The monsoons will come, they'll blow the tarpaulin off and destroy the crop. So I said, what are you doing? Just lift everything that we've got. So they promised now, this morning they promised me that they'll lift it up in the next few days.
So it takes a crisis for the grain of Punjab to be fed to the people of India all over.
There you are, because we had a bumper rice crop. Before that, we had a bumper wheat crop. This time, it's an even heavier crop. So we've been fortunate. Our farmer has been fortunate that way, but we have a problem of lack of storage. That's our problem.
But would you say that in a time like this, in a national health emergency like this, that you should even distribute it for free to the people who want it and who need it?
All for it. I am giving it to my blue card holders, which are the very poor. We are giving 6 months stocks to the laborers that have come from abroad, who are, as I told you, those 12 lakh which are in Punjab. We are giving food kits of wheat and rice and sugar, and all is being distributed. 10 lakh kits I've distributed, and continue to distribute. For 10 lakh for a laborer will ask about a week or so with his family and all. He's got them here too. So that hopefully we will be able to. They promised me that they'll give me all the storage space. So let's hope it works.
Now, would you tell the Prime Minister that, from your end, that he should distribute it for free, and that you would be happy for this to happen?
Absolutely. I mean, if the Prime Minister knows, he has all the facts of the food stocks of the country. But wheat is only in the northern belt. Then the southern belt.
It's rice.
But they are also overflowing with rice in the south. So I don't know who would want our rice, but wheat is certainly, I think, the northern belt is taking it.
Right, Captain Amrinder Singh, thank you so much for speaking to the print, for explaining to us how things are in Punjab. And through you, may I ask your friends and family and to the people of Punjab to subscribe to the Print's YouTube channel. We have a lot that's going on, and thank you again for your time.
Thank you.